There is absolutely the myth that to have good deer hunting, you need lots of trees. However, out here in the Great Plains, we can support extremely healthy deer populations without trees.
Sometimes the misconception that deer need trees comes from the fact that we look for deer around trees and don't necessarily look for them out away from trees. But if you get out there in the prairie and look, they readily use grasslands. Way back when, the only trees you would have seen on the landscape would have been along riparian areas. The uplands would have been almost entirely grasslands there with warm season, and it's tall grass prairie in eastern Kansas in the Flint Hills, moving into mixed grass and then short grass on far western Kansas. With that, there would have been some shrubs and things in little wetter areas that would have been pretty important for a lot of species, but not big towering trees, not a lot of eastern red cedar, and then fire would have done a lot along with bison grazing and a lot of the other species, mule deer, whitetails, elk, and that would have kept most of the woody species controlled. Today, we've taken a lot of fire off the landscape. We don't have the same grazing regime, if any, in many places, and so, woody plants start becoming a problem. Today, as we see that woody encroachment, oftentimes it's species that are not great for our wildlife species. They just don't add a whole lot of value to that, especially not when grasslands would provide a lot more forage and cover for many different species. Fawns survive best in knee to waist high grass, and unfortunately that's something that's pretty limited on our landscapes out there. We've got to look at different types of land management practices and try to find ways to encourage getting that habitat, because loss of that is an important thing. It allows predation to occur much easier outside of that kind of better habitat. We saw a big problem with our fawns dying from exposure, which means they don't have the correct thermal type habitats and exposed to weather. And so having that good grassland gives them that. We also saw, as woody encroachment occurs and in areas with quite a bit of trees, especially for western Kansas, those areas became ecological traps. The fawns that were born and hidden in there by does were predated at a higher rate than away from those areas. So as we see encroachment of trees, that starts to become places that attract predators to hunt those areas, and so that can also contribute to poor fawn survival.
We've acquired this land, I'm thinking, at least 25 years ago. And when we first bought it, behind the plum thickets here along the river, there's quite a few acres of native grass. And it was all grown up in locust trees. Okay, so we went in, spent a whole winter in there, removing, I'm not going to say hundreds, thousands of locust trees. Lots of those areas, there was no native grass left. It took about 2 years, and all of a sudden, here comes all that grass back. What we did now is we've got the whole place cut up into sections. Every year, we'll walk a certain section, kill out any cedars or locusts that are coming up. So it makes it easy if you do a little every year. They walk you through step by step. The first one was Charlie came out, he looked at what we had. He went back to his office, he looked all the programs over, we made a few phone calls, and basically every time I had to make a decision, Charlie was calling. Hey, what do you think? Do you want to go this route, here's what we need to do. So as far as the process, extremely easy. I mean, they'll walk you right through the process. Oh, it makes me feel great. I've got new friends I didn't have. They were bringing youth hunters out during the special doe season, and they were giving them an opportunity to shoot their first deer. If I have any problems or any new ideas, I run it right through them. We are now getting ready to do the same thing on this field over here, so I've run everything past Charlie, through Charlie, with all the ideas, and I mean, that's why those guys are there. I mean, they know what they're doing. Just give them a call and give them a chance.
Deer do incredibly well in this prairie environment, and they were here in pretty healthy numbers before Europeans were. Back then, there were drastically less trees out here than there are now. Deer in the central Great Plains They need that shelter, they need bedding cover, and they need winter cover, all of which can be provided through denser tall grasses, or shrubby habitats, things like that. If you're interested in learning more about your land, how to manage it, and the wildlife habitat on it, feel free to contact your local wildlife biologist with Kansas Wildlife and Parks.